York University Medical Center, November 20th. The TAP method was I just co-authored a research where we're going to be looking at the TAP method with multicultural communities. Cornell University, we just got approved for starting January 15th for 28 weeks, looking at their research, memory and evaluation clinic. Cornell, NYU, people are getting behind how important the arts are.
One of the reasons why they're getting behind the TAP method is because it's structured, it's easy to research, it's person-centered, it has a lot of strengths. This is my master's thesis, Cognitive Functioning Using Art Therapy to Enhance Cognitive Performance in Hispanic Elderly. Through the TAP method, you're stimulating various ways of learning: interpersonal, intrapersonal, kinetic, spatial, visual, auditory. The whole spectrum, the brain, both the left and right, as Linda said, is being stimulated. This is where I'm doing my research, Centro de Oro, or the Golden Center. It's catered to Hispanic elderly. I'm working with Hispanic elderly, providing art therapy sessions. My goals are increase socialization, improving hand-eye coordination, emotions affect hand-eye coordination, group cohesion. Socialization is very important, especially at this age of life. Improving self-esteem. Self-esteem shows to have an effect on cognition as well. Why use the creative arts to enhance cognitive functioning? You think, well, the creative arts are for emotions, to have people share. Emotions affect cognition. I'm using two pre and post tests. One's the cognitive failures questionnaire, and the other is the class drawing test. As I mentioned earlier, if you're interested in repeating this study, I can mail you a zip drive with all the protocols, the pre and post tests. It's already translated if you did want to do this with the Spanish population. Here's an example, and I'm going to show you how multiple steps, as Linda mentioned, can be integrated into one protocol, one session. I tell them the goals before we get started as well. Recall a memory, share this memory, create this memory, present this memory. And by doing that, I'm stimulating long-term, short-term memory. I'm enhancing socialization. They're talking in the group. I'm helping them to use spatial and kinetic abilities, stimulating those regions of the brain associated with that function. Linguistic stimulation as well. So we've got multiple aspects of the brain stimulated from the first portion of the session. For 10 minutes, we're going to pick a seashell out of the bag, kinetic ability. Then we're going to hold on to it, go within, introspection, and talk about a time that they lived near the ocean, had an experience with water. If they didn't have an experience with the ocean, it could be a lake, it could just be water in general. What does it make you think of? Then we're going to talk about emotions. What does the shell remind you of? What emotions do you think of? So we're getting progressively more abstract. It goes to very concrete object. We're going to relate to it. Now let's create emotional connections with this object. Now let's fully focus on emotions. Progressive. Then we're going to spend 30 to 45 minutes creating a collage of this memory. They go within. This is introspection. They're quiet. They're not using their linguistic capability. It's kinetic and spatial. They're formulating a composition, and then they're going to write a story. Typically, I have my clients write a story afterwards. By allowing them to express emotions, I'm actually enhancing the capability of the TAP method to affect cognition. The more emotional connection someone has to information, the more likely that information is to stick in their long-term memory. I mentioned earlier, they come into the United States, they may or may not learn English. Legality reasons contribute to that. Age contributes to that. Many of you may not be bilingual. There's probably a reason why. It's intimidating to learn a new language. It's the same for them. So that means a great deal in their life. It limits where they can go, who they can talk to, their comfort level in leaving the house alone without their son or daughter who is bilingual probably because they've been integrated into school. So here's someone who is automatically socially isolated, socially limited. One of Linda's recommended protocols is to give them all a little umbrella, recall a time that you used an umbrella or what does it remind you of. We created a group collage, so we're emphasizing cohesion, group socialization, as well we're using the sculpture activity. Here's their sculpture. This is afterwards. So here's an individual who is, one, showing that they were involved in the arts, two, talking about pre-immigration experiences, and three, showing confidence in who they are, in their pre-immigration experiences, and in sharing with others and in socializing with others. We have a use-dependent system. They don't use parts of your brain, they don't develop. He used the example of the children in foster care, how little socialization they have. Well, Linda's videos, she says the phrase, you lose it or you lose it. That's the same concept. This method ensures that you won't be losing it, you'll be enhancing it.